Hello and welcome to this chess endgame demonstration of king and pawn winning against king and rook. And normally the side with the extra rook versus a king and pawn would win, but there are exceptions, and this is one of them. And so in this position, it is white's turn to move. So if you are playing white here, what would you do? What do you think the best move is? Feel free to pause the video if you need extra time to think about it. And now I will turn on the analysis and evaluation, and we can see the answer. Okay, so the evaluation shows that white is winning, and we notice that there is only one move here, which hopefully you guessed it, and that's just pushing the pawn. So if the pawn is pushed forward, one move away from queening. Whenever you have a passed pawn, it is usually a good idea to push that pawn forward. And so here, the best move, or one of the best moves, is for the rook to just start checking. Now, in the game, or sorry, in the computer evaluation, the computer just wanted this rook to move back and allow the pawn, and then you'd have a queen, king and queen versus a king and rook, which could be a little complicated of an endgame, but that queen should win against the rook. It just might take a little while to defeat the weaker side. Okay, so we have rook to d6, delivering checks. And here, white has to be careful, as once again, there's only one move that wins here. And so the king must play king, or excuse me, the white king must move to b5 here. If we have king to b7, well, this would just allow the rook to move up here, pinning this pawn, and then just capturing it and trading off pieces for a draw. And also, if we go back, if instead king to c5 is played, attacking, well, then in this position, rook to d2 can be played, and now the rook will be able to swing in behind the pawn, and if the pawn promotes immediately, then that would be losing, as the rook would swing in behind with check and then pick off this piece and not be, then black would be winning. So I can show you that. Let's see. Let's say he promotes to a queen. Well, then the rook can just swing in behind, and now the king can't reach the can't get up here and protect that queen in time. And so then now black would be winning. Okay, and so in order to avoid all that, the queen, or excuse me, the king, the best move here is b5. And so this b5 move, and now the pawn is still threatening to turn into a queen here. And so black must just move and check. And so check, the king keeps moving down, check, until finally this move is played, and the rook can't swing down under the king and then go after this pawn. And so here, the rook must move as it's under attack. So after rook to d4, there's a little trick here. So in order for white to win, he must be careful here. So if c8 queen is played, then this little trick, rook forking the queen and king here, and so the queen would have to capture, or else if the king moved, then black would be winning. So after queen captures, we see that this is a stalemate here. So it's black's turn to move, but the queen cuts off this square, and the king cuts this off. So that's something that white must be very careful of, and a way to avoid that is to use what's called under promotion, where instead of promoting the pawn to a queen, you promote it to a less powerful piece, and a rook will do the job here. So now there is a threat of rook to a8 checkmate here. And so black must defend against that by moving here, rook to a4. And then now we have king to b3. And now there is another threat of mate here by the rook on c1. And so black cannot fight against both these threats. The threat of mate here on c1 by the rook, and the king is attacking his rook on a4. And so here the computer wants rook to b4 check or king to b1, but either way this rook is lost. And so the game may continue with king to b1 to avoid this mate here, and then capture. And now white just keeps the black king cornered and moves in for a mate. And so I hope you enjoyed that example of a circumstance where king and pawn wins against a king and rook. Usually a king and rook will defeat a king and pawn, but this was one exception that I thought was interesting. And who knows, maybe you could come across something like this in one of your own games. So I hope you enjoyed this chess endgame demonstration. Thank you. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and feel free to leave comments or suggestions. Have a great day, everyone.